Hello, white people. This highway was once a tribute to the Confederacy. Soon it will honor Harriet Tubman. And that's supposed to be Harriet Tubman. An American abolitionist leader, Harriet Tubman, escaped slavery and led many other slaves to safety using the Underground Railroad. I highly doubt Harriet Tubman ever existed because, people who live in slavery, they don't know any different. It's not like, unless somebody tells them that it's wrong how they're living, people aren't just going to suddenly start escaping. A highway in Florida won't be keeping its name much longer after a county voted to change the name of a handful of Dixie highways to Harriet Tubman Highway. Miami-Dade County Commissioners unanimously approved plans Wednesday to rename portions of the Dixie Highway, which runs 5,786 miles through 10 states from Michigan to Miami, according to CNN affiliate WPLG. The time is always right to do what is right, said Miami-Dade District 9 Commissioner Dennis Moss, quoting Martin Luther King Jr. Moss led the effort to rename the highway after Tubman, a famous African-American abolitionist. Depending on your perspective, the word Dixie takes on a different meaning for different people. Most commonly, it's associated with the Old South and Confederate States. Dixie was considered the land south of the Mason-Dixon line, where slavery was legal. Injustice hiding in plain sight. Moss started looking into the name change after reading a letter from a man named Modesto Abity, former CEO of the Children's Trust in Miami-Dade County. Abity's granddaughter asked him why Dixie was still on the name of the roadways considering its association with slavery, Moss told CNN. I moved forward with legislation, and of course I did it because Dixie is associated with the Southern Confederate States, he said. Moss said the injustice has been hiding in plain sight for years, but he's grateful and proud his colleagues understand the importance of this name change and what the term Dixie has stood for in the past. The decision to rename Dixie Highway after Tubman came as a suggestion from Abity's granddaughter. She was the antithesis of slavery, Moss said. I thought that suggestion was a good suggestion. It's important to Moss to set a precedent by not only removing the Dixie name from roadways that Miami-Dade County controls, but to urge the state of Florida to remove it from roadways in which it has jurisdiction. A stepping stone on the path to change. While the name change was approved by Miami-Dade County Commissioners, it's up to each state to act on other parts of the highway. State lawmakers will need to go through their own approval process for the parts each state owns. The support hasn't been entirely unanimous, but to Moss's surprise, he said there has been little opposition, probably because people don't know about it. It's unclear just how much the renaming process will cost the county, but Moss said he and his colleagues are prepared to do whatever it takes to rape taxpayers to see that they are changed once and for all. If this was an Adolf Hitler highway, or if this... See, they're associating American history with Adolf Hitler now. If this was an Adolf Hitler highway, or if this was in our community a Fidel Castro highway, the money wouldn't even be a consideration because it's not theirs, it's taxpayer dollars, as it relates to changing the signs, Moss said. So let's not allow that to be an impediment, and let's do what's right. In 2017, a strip of the old Dixie Highway in a predominantly black neighborhood in Riviera Beach, Florida, has been renamed after the 44th president after city officials decided the highway's name had racist connotations. Every record has been destroyed or falsified, every book rewritten, every picture has been repainted, every statue and street building has been renamed, every date has been altered, and the process is continuing day by day, minute by minute. History has stopped. Nothing exists except an endless present in which the party is always right. George Orwell, from the book 1984. Every time you allow a foreigner to settle in our country, if you make friends with them and they say, oh yeah, I got your back and I'm your friend and everything, you know what? They are secretly going behind you and they are renaming our institutions, renaming our streets, and taking down our statues. You know why? Because they have no roots here. These statues, these institutions, they don't mean anything to them. And you need to get it through your head, if you haven't figured it out by now, that we are an occupied country and we are ruled over by foreigners. the felled statue there in the picture. That is Silent Sam. He was erected in 1913, over 100 years ago, to remember the sons of the university who died for their beloved Southland, 1861 to 1865. According to the University of North Carolina's website, the United Daughters of the Confederacy gave the statue to the university in 1909.
The spray-painted words "murderer" and "Black Lives Matter" are now covered by this sheet wrapped around
the artists that were responsible for this thing that we like to call vandalism. I think what they've done is not vandalism. They've made a major improvement to the statue.
As an African-American woman who's a student here, sort of that statue pretty much says I don't belong here, that I shouldn't be here.
Thank you for showing up today to support me.
Among this crowd, Maya Little is hailed a hero. She was in court charged with defacing a statue.
It was a combination of diversity and desegregation that tore that statue down. You know, these young people, they have absolutely no roots anywhere, and when their Marxist professors tell them who to hate, they don't have any point of reference to think for themselves, and they're going to do as they're told, like little zombies. They think that they are fighting Adolf Hitler himself when they pull down these statues. It's very unfortunate that normies have no idea how dangerous these people are. I read some documentation of the Chinese Cultural Revolution. These kids are so full of hate that they will cut somebody open and start eating their heart. Yeah, it's that bad. In the state of North Carolina, there's a protection of monuments, memorials, and works of art. Limitations on removal. An object of remembrance located on public property may not be permanently removed and may only be relocated, whether temporarily or permanently, under the circumstances listed in this subsection and subject to the limitation in this subsection. An object of remembrance that is temporarily relocated shall be returned to its original location within 90 days of completion of the project that required its temporary removal. How many monuments need to be torn down? How many streets need to be renamed before Americans stand up for their legacy? You know, this legacy did not come easily. People suffered and died for this legacy, for this country that we live in. And just to sit there and allow these rootless people to come in and erase us and our history, I can't even wrap my brain around it. All right, white people, that's the damage for now. Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to your comments below.